And we're joined on the phone today by musician Jessica Vines, and we're talking about her new album, Moving Too Fast. Hey Jessica, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, can you tell the listeners a bit about yourself, your sound, for those maybe who haven't discovered you yet?
Yeah, sure. So I am a singer-songwriter based out of Fargo, North Dakota right now. And I just released an album, Moving Too Fast. I feel like sometimes my sound is kind of difficult to explain just because I draw a lot of inspiration from different genres. But it focuses pretty much on like pop, but with R&B and rock and soul vibes all throughout.
Yeah, I'll say with your style, and the soulfulness you mentioned, I was surprised to find out how young you are.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, trying to get that old sound.
Well, you mentioned the new album, Moving Too Fast. Can you tell the listeners a bit about that? What are we in for?
Totally. So, just released this album April 1st, and it's been a project that I've been working on for the last year. A lot of these songs I've had and been performing for the last 2 years, but have finally kind of been able to put them all out. That's where the Moving Too Fast title comes from. It kind of feels like life is moving too fast, and I just can't get the music out fast enough. But yeah, so this is an album we just released and that I've been working on for the last year. So again, it really draws from a lot of different places of inspiration over that time. You can kind of hear the different styles of music that I'm listening to as I'm writing these. And it's a project I'm really proud of. I've been performing with the guys that played on the record for the last year and a half, so it's been really cool to have them follow through with all the songs with me from the writing process to the recording, and now it's released.
Yeah, I love the sound. It's jazzy. It's got moments of funkiness. I love hearing the saxophone. It's great how it all turned out.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the saxophone kind of makes us unique. Not a lot of bands have a singular saxophone, except for like blues bands, but not a lot of pop groups use that.
Well, speaking of that, where do your influences come from? I know you mentioned you live around the Fargo-Moorhead. Did you grow up here in the Midwest, or?
So I actually grew up in Southern California, in Riverside, California, and then when I was 17, my senior year of high school, my dad got a job up in Fargo, and so my whole family moved. Graduated high school here, and then I stuck around for college. As far as musical influences go, starting out when I was younger, I was really, really influenced by like older groups like the Beatles. I listened to the Doors, and I listened to like a lot of like, I don't know what you might say, like alternative pop, but like the Killers and the Strokes and things like that. And then it wasn't until I got to college that I really started to dig into jazz and started kind of letting that influence my vocal style as well as my writing.
Excellent. And again, the new album, Moving Too Fast, is out now. And you mentioned, playing with the same guys you were when you first started. Are they from this area, Fargo-Moorhead?
They're kind of from all over. Yeah, we have our bass player. He mixed the album. He is from Rapid City, South Dakota. And then Connor Lee, Alex Vinekout, and Jack Anderson, they're from all within like an hour of around Fargo-Moorhead. So all close-ish.
Well, it's too bad the way things are now in the world, and your album hopefully doesn't get lost in the shuffle here. I'm hoping people get a chance to hear it.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's definitely been a huge bummer. We had quite the schedule planned for our April, May, and going into the summer, just trying to get out to as many places as we could and promote our album. So it really is a bummer that we're not able to go and bring that out to new places. And you're right, it totally is kind of you have to be smart about how you post about things, because even though there are so many people that are on their phones and that are consuming content, there's so much content out there. So it's like you're always looking for how to be different, how to get attention and all that fun stuff.
Well, if things start to get back to normal, could we see you guys on the road, or maybe making your way down to our area here in Mankato?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We're still kind of working with venues to figure out rescheduling and all that stuff. It's tough to know because we really don't know like when is a safe time to reschedule for, and venues are also taking a huge hit. So just like trying to be respectful of them figuring their own stuff out before we start making new plans. But that is our goal. I love being out on the road and going to new cities, and so yes, as soon as we can, we will be out in the city near you.
Awesome, and I've read that your day job actually you're a music professor up at MSU-Moorhead.
Yeah, yeah. I teach an ensemble there, and then I have a private studio of voice, writing, and piano students. So I'm really, really lucky that I've been able to kind of transition to online teaching with everything that's going on. I have some wonderful students, and I feel so lucky to like get to make my living just talking about music with people or going to play music for people. It's a very cool job.
And you offer lessons and stuff online during your off time?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I teach at a place in Fargo as well whenever we're not traveling. But I'm always teaching online lessons, and now I'm teaching exclusively online. But yeah, so teaching is also a big part of my day to day.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how things will shape out. Obviously the album used to be the big moneymaker for bands and musicians, and then it kind of changed back over to the road, and now maybe it's got to go back to album sales, or who knows how it'll all shake out.
Yeah, I know it's because you don't need to pay for music nowadays, and so it is really, really hard to make a living with music unless you're able to go out and perform. But I've been seeing a bunch of artists that are doing live streams and kind of doing the virtual tip jar thing, which I've had some music friends that have had some success from that. So it's really encouraging to see that people are still, opening their wallets what they can responsibly and helping artists survive.
And you mentioned the music kind of coming, too fast to get down. Could we see maybe some more music coming since everybody's, kind of got a lot of time on their hands now?
Yeah, I am always writing, always writing, and so started working on new songs while we were still working on the album. The guitar player in my group, Connor Lee, he also co-wrote some of the tracks that are on this album, and then we've been working together on some new stuff as well. So we're always looking ahead, and I think that's the most exciting part about music for me is that it never really stops. You're always like looking towards the next thing, and you're constantly growing and figuring out how to be a better musician than you were the day before. So it's a really exciting thing. So yeah, we're definitely working on new music, and looking forward to being able to get in the studio whenever we can.
Awesome. Well, again, the new album sounds great. If the listeners out there are looking to get a copy of Moving Too Fast, or maybe book some, lessons with you, or see a live stream, anything like that, where's the best place to go?
Sure. You can find all of that information on my website, jessicavines.com, or you can get a hold of me through Instagram or Facebook, Jessica Vines Music. That's also a great spot. You can find all the information there.
Awesome. Well, again, Jessica, the new album sounds great. I appreciate your time, and since you work for MSU-Moorhead, maybe you can make your way down here to MSU Mankato sometime soon.
Definitely, that'd be so cool. Yeah, I would love that. I'd love that.
Awesome. Well, I'll be looking out for you, and again, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And again, that was Jessica Vines, and her new album, Moving Too Fast, is available now.